groups who wanted to protest against Muslims. As a response, this article was published later. Sorry, Islamophobes, your anti-Muslim rallies ended up inspiring acts of love and service. Right? So there are several of these articles that were published in the media. Damper on armed interfaith counter-protest put a damper on armed anti-Muslim rallies. Right? So people of goodwill, of all faiths and traditions, went out there and counter-protested against the anti-Muslim rallies. And in some cases, people actually came to mosques angry, full of hate, but when they went back, they hugged each other. And here we see two women, one who was a protester, one who was a worshipper at the mosque, hugging each other, only because they came to know each other better. As I referred to of a text from the scripture in the morning, that the purpose of our creation is to know one another, not despise each other. And another clip, I believe, of an U.S. anti-Islam rallies fizzle nationwide. Interfaith support quashes anti-Muslim rallies. And this is the healthy sign. This is something that we must be proud of and we must celebrate. So this is also a textbook definition. What do we do with phobia? People who are afraid of spiders or heights. So the clinical definition or the cure is that you give more of the very thing or the same thing that you are afraid of. So we all know if you are allergic to grass, what happens? You go to an allergist and what do they inject? More grass, essentially. So you become immune to it. So our challenge is that whatever we are afraid of, we need to inject ourselves with that very thing. So the more you know about Muslims and the more you know about Islam, chances are the less you will be afraid of. And and converse is also true. So for those Muslims who are afraid of Jews or Buddhists or Christians or atheists or agnostics or gays or lesbians or African Americans or Latinos, they should also inject themselves with the same thing that they are afraid of to be able to get to know the other better, not despise each other. And these are the 3-point prescription that I have. First and foremost, when you see a person who does not look like you, don't be afraid of. Know that person, especially in a school setting. And we must absolutely reject this idea of us, whatever that us looks like and is defined as, and then the them. So one group of people saying we are us and they are them, and by very nature of that discourse we are erecting a wall and dividing a line of us and them, and we must negate it completely. And I think particularly in a pluralistic society in which we live, there is no other. There is no other. And this other is a very, very dangerous idea in a pluralistic society. So I listed some of these very helpful, very useful resources. So there is a very good Islamophobia documentation project at UC Berkeley. And then there is a very wonderful book by this title. Center for American Progress has actually produced a research report called Fear Incorporated, how economics play a role, how profiteering makes a role in this industry for Islamophobia. Another book, Sugar Mama of Anti-Muslim Hate, also exposes the think tanks and the academia and research institutions who are taking money from special interest groups to produce false and useless, baseless data. Debunking the Mythical Sharia Threat, produced by ACLU, A New Religious America by Diana Eck, and a very wonderful project, not necessarily focused on Muslims or Islam, but pluralism project started by at Harvard School by this lady Diana Eck, who is a professor there. Very useful, very wonderful resource for all of us to really benefit from and enrich ourselves with the idea of a pluralistic society. So I'm deeply appreciative of your patience for listening to me second time, not one time, and I applaud you. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer maybe for a few minutes.